This is your field of dreams. Bees get almost all of their food from flowers. The search for nectar and pollen lasts as long as the light does. The flowers are not just being charitable. By luring the bees, they get them to carry pollen from one blossom to another. A flowering plant can't reproduce unless it gets pollen from another flower of the same type. Without bees, most would die. Bees have been busy for millions of years now, and they're not about to stop anytime soon. Foragers still return from the fields with nectar, while guard bees still watch and wait. There's treasure in this beekeeper's hive, and all are sworn to protect it with their lives. Suddenly, an intruder comes flying in. A wasp, hoping to capture a bee and feed it to its hungry grubs. The battle begins in earnest. Today, just like yesterday, there is no rest for the weary. In a honeybee colony, every member has a specific task to perform, and everything has its place. Cell upon cell and row upon row, the hive is built. Out in the open, the bees are extremely vulnerable to predators and bad weather. The scent of honey is carried on the night air, and some creatures will go to great lengths to steal it. It lands at the entrance, surrounded by guard bees ready to protect the hive. But there's no sign of defense. The moth walks boldly past the guards and enters the hive. The moth's camouflage is perfect. It produces chemicals that mimic the scent of the beehive. To the bees, having the right smell is more important than being the right size. But just in case, the moth uses another deception. It makes sounds that would normally come only from a queen bee. With these disguises, the moth can plunder the honey cells unchallenged. He escapes just in time. Spring now turns to summer. Not only is the harvesting season short, but all sorts of unpredictable events can force the bees to stop. And what's more unpredictable than the weather? The bees can become so chilled by the water that their muscles no longer function efficiently. They are grounded, unable to fly. Even the guard bees back at the hive are rendered useless, numbed by the cold. Nearby, the dreaded hornets are also rearing their young. With hungry hornet grubs to feed, attacks against the bees increase in intensity. The bees counterattack. Some poachers are more imposing than others. Bears spend almost all of their time foraging for food. It's best not to attract their attention. Too late. The bear is known for its sweet tooth, and a beehive is irresistible. To reach the prized woodland honey, the bear uses brute force. But honey is only one of the attractions. He also savors the protein-rich grubs. The bees desperately defend their hive. But they're no match for the bear, who shakes off their attacks. His thick fur protects him from the stinging bees long enough for him to wreak maximum damage. Only when the hive is devastated does the bear decide it's time to move on. Other, smaller plunderers begin to arrive. One bee tries to rescue some honey. She's driven away by the ants. The colony is doomed. But the original hive is still very much intact. As summer heat raises the temperature inside, workers are kept busy bringing in cooling water. The colony must now submit to another indignity. It's time for the beekeeper to take his share of the honey, a kind of rent to cover the cost of the hive and its management. They've faced ruin from bad weather, predators, and bacterial disease. And yet, year after year, a new generation of workers has taken to the air to bring us the taste of honey. In the house at Pooh Corner, A.A. Milne wrote, "What would you like best in the world, Pooh?" "Well," said Pooh, "what I like best," and then he had to stop and think. Because although eating honey was a very good thing to do, there was a moment just before you began to eat it which was better than when you were. But he didn't know what it was called. Sweet anticipation.